YouTube, what's going on, guys? Man Elite with Pro Madden Schemes, and today I'm going to bring you guys the best defensive ability combo to use for the current meta in Madden 23. Now, as a lot of you guys may know, since the last patch, the 335 loop has been patched. Well, pretty much any loop in the game is pretty hard to set up, whether it's the 335 loop or the dollar loop, bringing the corners in. So pretty much the only two defenses that I think are viable in this game right now are 335 sending 5 or running dollar sending 5. So I'm going to bring you guys the best ability combo in my opinion to use for the two defenses. This is going to be based around the multiple defense or the 4-6 defense. So guys, the most important positions right here are going to be your 4 DBs and what abilities you have on those 4 DBs. And we have to make sure that the players we're plugging in get the right abilities for the right discount. To me, the two most important players to get the discount on are going to be the two safeties. I think the two best abilities to put on your safeties is deep out zone KO, deep route KO, and pick artist. So you guys can see right here, I have Charles Tillman. This card recently came out. If you can't get pick artist, it's not that big of a deal. Maybe if you have 1 AP left over after you put all your players in with whatever discounts you have, maybe you can put tip drill instead of the pick artist. There are players that get deep out zone KO and deep route KO that are not that expensive. So if you can't go out and buy a Charles Tillman, somebody like Julius Peppers, I think, and a guy like Calvin Johnson can get these abilities. You're not going to be able to get the pick artist because you're going to have to pick between pick artist or deep out zone KO or deep route KO with those players. But I'll go ahead and show you guys in a second which players get those abilities for discounted. But again, if you can't get pick artist, it's not the end of the world. If you can afford these players that I'm going to show you guys, these are the best abilities to use for them. But if you guys can afford these players like a Rodney Harrison, like a Charles Tillman, and like a Patrick Surtain that just came out that also gets these abilities, those 3 players are going to be the best ones to use for the safety position in my opinion. So guys, we're going to take you over here to mutt.gg. If you guys don't know about this website, this is the perfect place to figure out which players get which ability discounts and which slot they go in. The slots that they go in are very, very important. So again, if you guys don't know about this site, we're going to go over here on the right. We're sorting the players that get deep out zone KO for 1, the players that get deep route KO for 1, and pick artist for 0, all combined. So we're going to apply these filters, and you can see there's only 3 in the game, as I was saying: Surtain, Charles Tillman, and Rodney Harrison. To be honest, you can really pick any 2 of these 3 players and plug them in at safety. They're going to be perfectly fine for that dollar defense and the 335 defense. Now, the main reason you want to have deep out zone KO and deep route KO is you want to be able to mix in when you're manning players up and when you're keeping them in those deep out zones. I feel like the sidelines are the hardest to guard in this game, so it's very important that they have deep out zone KO. On top of that, with that deep out zone KO ability on the safeties, you're able to mix in match coverage whenever you need to, and that deep out zone KO ability is going to activate. Sometimes it even activates in the middle of the field when it's not supposed to. Now, as I said earlier, these players are kind of expensive right now, the cheapest one being Rodney Harrison. He is a limited time card, so his price is probably going to go up, honestly, and it has been going up for the past few days. So if you don't have enough coins for these 3 guys, don't worry, I got you guys. The only thing with these players is you're not going to be able to put the 0 AP pick artist. The pick artist is a huge game changer, but you can get by without the pick artist. You can just have the deep out zone KO and the deep route KO, and you should be good, honestly, if you want to. Like I said, if you have the AP, you can add 1 AP tip drill. So we'll go and apply the filters right here, and you guys can see there's a lot more players right here, guys like Denzel Ward, Tariq Woolen. If you guys did the MCS set, he is free. Guys like Champ Bailey is a guy that I was using before. And right here, you got somebody like Calvin Johnson, Charles Woodson, Julius Peppers. Calvin Johnson and Julius Peppers actually wouldn't be bad options. Bo Jackson, I know, is a guy that some people were using in the MCS games. Again, either one of these guys on this list are going to be just fine with that deep route KO and deep out zone KO ability, really however you want to mix the players up. The only way that we're going to put the pick artist on the 2 safeties is if they get it for 0 AP. You can see, again, I have Charles Tillman and Rodney Harrison with the 0 AP pick artist. So that's it for the 2 safeties. They should not be more than 2 AP each so that we can put the abilities everywhere else on the field. Now we're going to move to the 2 outside corners. You guys can see here, currently I have James Bradbury and Marcus Williams as my 2 outside corners. Now currently on Marcus Williams, I have flat zone KO, pick artist, and deep out zone KO. Now I do see some people use mid zone KO and deep out zone KO comboed together. The reason I prefer flat zone KO over the mid zone KO is because you're always pressed in dollar and 335. At least I'm always pressing. There's some players that don't, but guys, flat zone KO is just so good when you're pressed. Even if your player is in a deep third and your opponent throws a flat, Because you have the flat zone KO, it's going to activate even if your player is on a deep third. As long as the ball is thrown within 10 yards, your player is going to activate. He's going to be able to run down the field and sometimes knock it out, honestly, even though he's on a deep third. The other reason I like it is you can put your flats on 30. And if your opponent decides to throw a quick flat, even though your flats are on 30, they're going to take a little while to back up. Because you have flat zone KO, you're going to be able to run down, make a play on them, knock it out. Sometimes they'll even pick it. So that's the reason I like the flat zone KO. Now, on my cornerback one, which ends up being the corner on the right side of the field. So if you're playing against a right-handed quarterback, he's going to be on that strong side. I always like to have my best corner on that side. On that corner, I have mid zone KO, flat zone KO, and deep out zone KO. Why? Because he's just always in zone coverage. And with the ability discounts that we currently have, it allows us to use mid zone KO, flat zone KO, and deep out zone KO. Again, the mid zone KO, I don't think is a must. I would rather have flat zone KO and deep out zone KO. So I'm going to show you guys some players that you can use if you don't have enough coins for these guys. Now, James Bradberry and Marcus Williams are not crazy expensive right now. So if you have enough coins for them, I would suggest picking them up. The most amount of AP that I would want to use on both my outside corners is 3 AP. You can easily get a corner that gets deep out zone KO for 1. And even if they don't get flat zone KO for 1, we're still going to be using a zone corner, so he at least gets it for 2 AP, and you want to make sure that he has 0 AP pick artist. So back on Mutthead over here, we're going to search for the players that get deep out zone KO for 1, flat zone KO for 1, and pick artist for 0. And you're going to see right here, there's not too many. Tracy Porter is one that is not too expensive, but he's kind of short. That's the reason I wouldn't really want to use Tracy Porter. Again, you're going to have somebody right here like Nolan Cromwell. He's going to be really good, but he is crazy expensive. He's like 1 mil right now. That's one of the reasons that I went with Marcus Williams. He is 1 speed slower. They're both the same speed, but if you have legends, Cromwell is going to be 97 speed. So the reason I went with these two guys right here is because, again, they're just not as expensive. And if you happen to pick Charles Tillman and Patrick Surtain at safety, you can move Rodney Harrison down to the corner spot. He gets those abilities that we need on the outside corners. And of course, a guy right here, Jalen Mills. Jalen Mills is actually a really, really good card in this game. But of course, he was an LTD in that Super Bowl promo, and he's almost like 1 million coins. So that's a lot of coins. Again, you don't need to get those crazy expensive guys. If you have the coins for them, cool. I would suggest getting Marcus Williams and James Bradberry right now. Now, like I said, if you don't have enough coins for these guys, we're going to switch the AP right here to 2. Now, by switching the flat zone KO to 2, you guys can see there's a lot more players right here to choose from. If we scroll down, some of these players are kind of expensive up here, but if we scroll down, you can see somebody like Richard Sherman is pretty good. He's tall enough. If you have Legends Chem, he's going to be 95 speed. That's going to be solid right now. Somebody like Derwin James, pretty solid. Bland right here for the Cowboys, 96 speed. He's also like 6'1". If we click on his card, he's 6 foot. So again, he's going to get all the abilities that you need on the outside for a total of 3 AP. We'll click next right here, and you guys can see somebody like Calvin Johnson, Charles Woodson, Julius Peppers, even Bo Jackson. These guys are all getting those same discounted abilities. To me, it doesn't really matter who you go with, to be honest. I would go with the taller players if you don't have the speed. But to be honest, you really can't go wrong with any of these guys. If you do have a player that gets legends, preferably going with the player that gets legends chemistry so they get that speed boost. But again, on the outside corners, we're doing flat zone KO, deep out zone KO, and pick artist. Again, the reason for this is because we can play zone when we're running baseline dollar, and whenever we're running 3-3, you're going to be able to run match. You're also going to be able to run match in dollar if needed. And again, like I said earlier, the hardest routes in this game to guard are the corner routes. So having that deep out zone KO is going to be amazing on your outside corners. And of course, if they try to throw anything quick underneath, that flat zone KO is going to activate, even if your outside corner is in a deep third or a deep quarter. Now guys, literally in the middle of recording this video, I think the EA servers went down, so I can't get back into my team. So I can't show you guys the lineup and what else we're spending the AP on. So I'll just go ahead and show you guys over here on MuttGG. So just a quick recap so far on the abilities. On your 2 safeties, you're using no more than 2 AP each. So that's going to be a total of 4 AP. Now on the 2 outside corners, if you're using the discounts for 1 AP flat zone KO and 1 AP deep out zone KO, that's going to be 2 AP on each corner. Plus on one of your corners, adding the mid zone KO. So you're going to have the flat zone KO, mid zone KO, and deep out zone KO combo. That's going to be 4 AP on one corner and 2 AP on the other corner. So that's a total of 6 AP on your 2 outside corners. Now, if you're not using the discounts and you're using the 2 AP flat zone KO with the 1 AP deep out zone KO, it's still going to be a total of 6 AP on your 2 outside corners because it's going to be 3 AP on each. You're going to have the flat zone KO, deep out zone KO, and pick artist for free. So no matter which ability combo you're using on the 2 outside corners, that gives us 2 AP to play with. Now, what I like to use for this final 2 AP is going to be Secure Tackler or Tackle Supreme, whichever you guys can get for free or for 1 AP. What I did is I went over here to MuttGG and we're gonna go ahead and search for a Secure Tackler. Currently, I'm using the Harrison Smith from the AKA promo. I believe he gets Secure Tackler for 1 AP and Pick Artist for 0 AP. And for the other one, I'm using Rayshawn Jenkins. There's probably a better player and a faster player to use than Rayshawn Jenkins, but Rayshawn Jenkins is a good example of a cheap player that gets Tackle Supreme for 1 AP and Pick Artist for 0 AP. So right here, we're gonna scroll down. We're gonna put Tackle Supreme for 1 AP. And we're gonna see who gets Pick Artist for 0 AP. We're gonna go ahead and apply the filter. There's not gonna be a lot of players. You can see right here, Rodney Harrison is one of them. Rodney Harrison, I don't like to be an option because I prefer him to either play corner or safety for me. We do have Rod Martin right here. He is a linebacker, so definitely not an option there. You can see Rayshawn Jenkins and the Honey Badger. If you want to use the Honey Badger, cool. He's not that tall. I don't really want to use him at linebacker. If you're somebody that likes using his card, you're a fan of the Honey Badger, hey, there's an option right there. Me, I've been using this Rayshawn Jenkins. Like I said, we'll go ahead and click on his card. If you scroll down, you can see for the ability combos, he does get the 0 AP Pick Artist and the Tackle Supreme in different buckets. Now, why are we adding in the Tackle Supreme? Of course, if you guys haven't been playing the game, you know people are using abilities with the Quad Father and with the Derrick Henry. People are adding in Freight Train, adding in the Quad Father ability, and they're starting off with the Freight Train activated, and that is super annoying. So if you're able to shoot the gaps and tackle them in the backfield when you have Secure Tackler or the Tackle Supreme, you're going to be able to take that ability away and you don't have to really worry about it for the rest of the game, or at least until the end of the quarter or something like that. I know one of them, I think for the Quad Father, ends up coming back like every 9 plays or something like that. I don't know what the cooldown is, but every time that activates, you're going to have your Tackle Supremes in there with the Pick Artist. So if they, run a pass play, you're still able to catch the picks and all that. But that Tackle Supreme is going to be very, very important at the 2 linebacker positions in Dollar. And what I like to do in 3-3, if you ever run that instead of Dollar, is I like to use one of the Tackle Supremes or Secure Tacklers, and the other one I sub in at linebacker. So if he happens to shoot in when I'm blitzing everybody, he's going to be able to make the tackle in the backfield and not allow a broken tackle. So these are the players that get the discounted Tackle Supreme and Pick Artist. Now let's go ahead and look at the players that get the Secure Tackler and Pick Artist. Now, Secure Tackler and Tackle Supreme are pretty much going to do the same thing and work the same way. The only thing with Tackle Supreme is you're not going to be able to get faked out. So Tackle Supreme is a little bit better. But at the end of the day, if there's a better player that gets Secure Tackler over Tackle Supreme, I would take the better player with Secure Tackler. So we'll go ahead and filter right here. You can see Nolan Cromwell. Okay, I didn't know he was one of the ones that got the discounted ability, so he might have to be on the team pretty soon. He's a pretty good linebacker to use right there with Secure Tackler and Pick Artist. Again, Marcus Williams is another one. If you use somebody other than Marcus Williams at the outside corner, I would definitely put this guy at the linebacker spot to not have to use that Rayshawn Jenkins. And the other one that I've been using is this Hitman Harrison Smith right here. This dude's an absolute beast. And we have Isaiah Rodgers right here. Not an option in my opinion because he is a cornerback. You're not going to be able to plug him in at linebacker. Well, not really an option right there with Isaiah Rodgers, but there's 3 players right here, Cromwell, Williams, and the Hitman. And if we go back here, you have the Honey Badger, Rodney Harrison, and Rayshawn Jenkins. So there's enough players right here. There's a couple affordable players that you can add into the team. Again, the Honey Badger and Jenkins right here. If you guys are short on coins, you guys don't want to spend a lot of coins on these players. These are 2 pretty good options that are not crazy expensive. Now that puts us at 12 AP after using that remaining 2 AP on 2 linebackers that are going to have either Secure Tackler or Tackle Supreme. Now we're going to be able to put 0 AP everywhere else on the field. So you want to make sure you have 0 AP on your 2 slot corners in Dollar, just in case you ever put them into coverage. There's so many players that get 0 AP Pick Artist, so many affordable players right now. So again, we're just going to go over here, Pick Artist, 0 AP. There's going to be a lot of them. There's going to be so many players that you guys can pick from. You guys can see there's 5 pages right here. You don't need them to be the fastest players in the game, really. These are the players you could probably go cheap on if needed. Antonio Cromartie right here is not crazy expensive anymore. Richard Sherman, 250K for his Redux. Somebody like Denzel Ward, 214K. You can even go a little bit cheaper. Kareem Jackson right here, 150K. Just blitzing off the edge, and you just want that Pick Artist ability just in case you ever put them in flats, man them up, anything like that. You can see Casey Hayward, 93 speed. If you're really short on coins, is 90K. Obviously you want to get the most speed that you can on those blitzing corners so they can blitz in as fast as they can. But you really can't go wrong with any of these guys as long as you have the pick artist ability on them. So that's going to be the 2 slot corners. For the other abilities on the D-line, you want to make sure you're using 0 AP on the D-line. Abilities that I would look for on the D-line, I know Lawrence Taylor is a really good one. I still use him. He is kind of outdated, but he gets the 0 AP pick artist. So if you ever get a throw out a sack or anything like that, the ball bounces off a lineman or something, he's going to be able to pick it every single time because of that pick artist ability. An ability that I would really look for on the defensive tackle is something like El Toro. I think JJ Watt is one of them that get it. I don't remember. Yep, the Milkman right here. Pretty good card to get right there. And here's a list of all of the players that get 0 AP El Toro. There's some affordable ones right here like Mario Williams, Reggie White are not crazy expensive. Now on the defensive end, I don't think there's anybody that gets double or nothing. I haven't really checked for that actually, but I don't think there's anybody that gets double or nothing for 0 AP. Okay, Charles Haley actually gets double or nothing for 0 AP, one of the new cards in the game. So he's somebody that might have to be on the D-line. Double or nothing is really good in the game. Even though a lot of people use edge protector, you never know. Sometimes you play somebody that only uses one edge protector. Maybe they don't have any. So the double or nothing is going to go crazy for 0 AP is actually really, really good. Of course, he is pretty expensive, almost 1 million coins. So if you don't have enough coins for that, again, maybe just using somebody with Speedster on the outside, or even El Toro on the outside is going to be just fine. Again, we're playing a defense that sends a lot of pressure, so those D-line abilities are not going to be too crazy. Even using something like Unpredictable right here for 0 AP is a pretty good option as well. You can see guys like Nick Bosa, Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat here get Unpredictable for 0 AP. Speedster, another decent one on the edge. Guys like Javon Curse, Hassan Reddick, Bradley Chubb all get Speedster for 0 AP. Sometimes they do light up, even when you don't user it. Some people say that Speedster only activates when you user it, but I've seen it light up with the CPU, so that's a pretty good ability to add in there for 0 AP. Again, those 0 AP abilities on the D-line are not going to make a huge difference, but they're 0 AP. You got to have them out there. So that does it for today's video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video and found it helpful on what abilities to use. Well, that does it for today's video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video, and hopefully you guys did find it helpful. Now, you might not be somebody that likes to run 335 or dollar, but in my opinion, these are the best abilities to use for the current meta, or the 2 best defenses in the game in my opinion. And of course, if you guys did find this video helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn your notification bell on so you guys don't miss when we upload a new YouTube video. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.